Hello, everybody. David Shuster here. FBI Director Kash Patel, who, according to Atlantic Magazine, has been frequently drunk and absent from his job, is now facing demands that he testify to Congress. Patel has denied the Atlantic Magazine story and has filed a lawsuit claiming defamation. But Senator Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota, the ranking Democrat on the Senate Judiciary Committee, says Patel should agree to testify right now about all of this.
Well, we must have an immediate hearing with Kash Patel. If he says, see you in court, I think he should also say, see you in the Judiciary Committee. I obviously didn't support him. We had a very testy back and forth in my questions of him. But I think it's not a surprise that his response, instead of either resigning or instead of giving his facts out there, he attacks and sues in court. This is what this administration does. There's a constant attack on journalism and the media, and it's time and time again, these suits by Donald Trump and others are ultimately thrown out.
In his lawsuit, Patel accuses the Atlantic Magazine of crossing the legal line by publishing an article replete with what he insists are false and obviously fabricated allegations. Atlantic editor-in-chief Jeffrey Goldberg says the magazine stands by its reporting on Kash Patel. Here's some of the Atlantic Magazine excerpts as reported by MS Now.
On multiple occasions in the past year, members of his security detail had difficulty waking Patel because he was seemingly intoxicated. This was Chris was just referencing. And that's according to information supplied to Justice Department and White House officials. A request for breaching equipment, normally used by SWAT and hostage rescue teams to quickly gain entry into buildings, was made last year because Patel had been unreachable behind locked doors, according to multiple people familiar with the request. Multiple officials also tell The Atlantic that Patel is deeply concerned that his job is in jeopardy. Well, that's understandable. In one incident earlier this month, Patel struggled to log into an internal computer system. He quickly became convinced that he had been locked out, and he panicked, frantically calling aides and allies to announce that he had been fired by the White House, according to 9 people familiar with his outreach. 9 people.
The Atlantic went on to report that the access problem had been a technical error and was quickly resolved. Patel was able to get back into the computer system and realized he had overreacted, although Trump administration officials describe it as symptomatic of Patel's alleged manic paranoia. Patel is reportedly consumed with fear about Donald Trump firing him. The reporter on the Atlantic story is award-winning investigative journalist Sarah Fitzpatrick. She says her story was based on dozens of sources and that the FBI and the Trump White House were given plenty of opportunities and time to respond.
We reached out for comment to the White House and to the Justice Department, neither of which disputed anything. We gave multiple opportunities, including 19 detailed questions. So we stand by every word. And look, this is telling because there are so many people. You alluded to it earlier. These are not the types of people who are willing to speak out outside of the FBI, especially right now, because Kash Patel is going after people with polygraphs in a way that has never happened at the Bureau.
In other words, this is a very difficult and challenging environment for whistleblowers and other FBI sources. And as Fitzpatrick alluded to, it makes the accounts of these various sources even more remarkable. Other news organizations have confirmed bits and pieces of the Atlantic Magazine's report, and Patel's public drinking with the gold medal winning U.S. hockey team at the Olympics reportedly did not go over very well with Donald Trump. According to reports, Trump was embarrassed by Patel's behavior and has been considering firing Patel for months. Still, there are some Republicans in Congress who are publicly defending Kash Patel as FBI director. Here's House Republican Richard McCormick of Georgia.
I've seen plenty of guys drink and have fun when they're on their spare time. That's their business.
Yeah.
I bet you there's a lot of Americans out there right now who almost take offense to that. Does that mean I can't go party with my friends and then go do my job during the week time? I don't think that's really fair. I mean,
it is 420.
As long as it doesn't affect his job in a negative way, I'm cool.
Well, the issue, according to the Atlantic Magazine sources, is that Patel's drinking has affected his job. The story details incidents where Patel allegedly overslept, missed meetings, and was so unresponsive in one instance that his security detail, worried about his health and silence, summoned a SWAT team to smash in his door to get access to him. Legal experts believe that Patel will ultimately drop his lawsuit against Atlantic Magazine, and that's because the discovery and evidence collection in the lawsuit would require Patel to turn over all sorts of documents and materials he would not want to provide. Also, lawyers for the Atlantic could depose and get testimony from a wide variety of current and former FBI officials and Department of Justice staff. In other words, if you think the Atlantic has a blockbuster story now, just wait. Legal analysts also say the $250 million figure that Patel chose for the defamation claim seems random and not based on any actual financial damage. There is one other issue, of course, and that is the credibility of the reporting and the potential lack of credibility of Patel's lawsuit. Defamation cases are notoriously hard to prove. Claims often get thrown out by judges who note that being angry at a news organization is not the same as proving actual malice in their reporting. Also, in this case, Patel's lawsuit may be driven by internal administration politics. Patel can now show President Trump that he, Patel, is going after a mainstream outlet for allegedly fake news. That description of the reporting may only be coming from Kash Patel, but it's a PR move that could conceivably help Patel hold on to his job as FBI director. And if the Atlantic Magazine reporting is accurate, Patel is desperate and would do anything, perhaps even file an arguably weak lawsuit, to avoid getting fired. Did you know that the big wireless carriers like Verizon and AT&T made over $18 billion in profit last year? How? By overcharging you for unlimited data, most of which you probably aren't even using. But what if you could get paid to use your phone less and only pay for the data you do use? Well, with Noble Mobile, you can. For just $50 a month on their No Bull plan, you get unlimited data, and whatever data you don't use, you get cash back right in your pocket. People who switch to Noble can save an average of $500 to $1,000 a year. It's a no-brainer. And by switching to Noble, you're directly supporting TYT and our mission of bringing you honest, independent news. So give Noble a try and make the switch today. Scan the QR code on the screen now or visit go.tyt.com/plan. That's go.tyt.com/plan. By the way, Donald Trump's Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent recently had a rough time under questioning about gas prices, and the exchange involved Fox News.
It doesn't sound like we're going to have $3 a gallon gas by summertime, which we had initially been told by the Energy Secretary. He now says that it would be very aggressive if we're going to get to the $3 a gallon gas by the summer. So when are we really going to get $3 a gallon gas?
Well, I think that's going to be the up to how the negotiations go. President Trump said this morning that he thinks we're nearing the end. The U.S. kept their side on the ceasefire. We've stopped firing. The Straits of Hormuz have not been completely reopened, so we will see.
Check out that video at the link below. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.